But this guy just definitely did everything better. I think I kind of know the certain sort of key structural faults where it fell apart, but I'm sort of curious, like, what moments I wasn't thinking the right thing.
Yeah, I was thinking about like where you could improve, Nick. Doing stuff while you're getting your macro going. Oh, so whack. Good luck, good luck.
I swear, every time, actually, I think I commented on that. When people say that, I think they're gonna do some bullshit, but this guy didn't do any bullshit. It was pretty straightforward.
I can control
everything. Watch your, how do I watch, like,
so
Kelly's camera?
You can, I think everyone can choose what they see.
I know, it's really confusing. There's a lot of stuff going on.
I'll just basically just watch everyone all the time, and then at key moments I'll pause and let you know what I think.
Alright, cool.
So in your stream this morning, right here, before this Overlord got sniped, I was saying, like, get your Overlord out of there. I was saying it in your stream. This is actually much bigger of a deal than you might think. And it seems to happen relatively frequently for you, so that's the first big thing. Just like what I do at the start of the game, especially for a Zerg, you can actually just click him, like, I don't know if you can see that, but like near where the edge of his creep is, you can just click him there and then shift click him back to the ramp, and then it's taken care of.
And I just am going to see if there's a hatch there, and that's it?
Exactly. All you need to see is if there's creep or not. If there's
now you got to spend, what, 100 minerals on a new Overlord. You're going to be supply block.
And shit. And actually, the effect of this... Okay, so now let's go to Nick's cam. Go on Nick's cam, and then we'll play the game. I think the reaction to losing the Overlord was quite severe.
Oh,
so I remember you explaining it on your stream.
Oh yeah.
You lost the Overlord and you said, what can I do to make up for this?
Yeah, so I was trying to think of what I could do. So I thought of... Sorry.
You went and, you got a full wall off and took a third base. So we're going to pause again real quick. That's, so 75 plus 150 plus 75 plus 300. Right? So that was like, 150, 300, 600 minerals that was just spent right there as just like basically a reaction to losing an Overlord. When really I think the right reaction is just replace the Overlord and continue with the plan.
Okay, so my thinking was that I was going to get larva capped and then I would be missing out, so I wanted to spend drones so that I could make some more drones. But I can see how that was maybe not the most valuable decision.
But because of spending all this money on like an early wall and a third base, you weren't able to drone up as quickly as you would like. You weren't able to get your gases as quickly as you would like. You're not able to get your upgrades as quickly. Like your whole build just falls apart basically.
What was your
So if you lose an Overlord, only replace the Overlord and then just go right back into the plan.
Yeah, okay.
That's it. Yeah. So that was the first like pretty large glaring mistake
and
to me.
Like
when you did that,
true.
honestly, when you did that, I was like, some lings are gonna run into his base and fuck his shit up. I'm 110% sure of it.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything in the chat because these are valuable experiences.
Right.
But
although, I mean, that being said, I would have been making that wall around that time anyway. Right? Like, I want to have the wall off. Well, according to the build that I was doing, has the wall, the third piece in the wall at like 330 because that's the fastest they can show up with lings.
Sure. That's because of the lings, right?
Yeah.
But spending that extra 300 on the hatchery out there means, you had a whole bunch of larvae sitting for a little while. You didn't get your drones up as quick as possible.
And I also lost the hatch.
And
you lose the hatch because there was no chance of that. And like, the queens were kind of just sitting there for a while, not doing much. They could have been in this wall quite a bit sooner.
Yeah,
I would say that's a pretty important one there too. Honestly, taking the hatch and having to cancel it is not game ending. That was not a game ending mistake. It's not good. You could be way ahead of where you are now for sure, but
and have units.
Yeah, and have units and shit. Exactly.
Like 600 minerals worth.
Just like a little bit more focus on making sure you're secure on two bases, because if you skip ling speed, you need to kind of play a little bit more passive. For sure. Because people can be out there with, these group of 20 lings or whatever and just end the game. Just ruin your day, basically.
Both queens go down.
Yeah, I didn't fully understand the mechanics of the queen in the wall, and I was late, and I didn't hold position. Actually, I don't think it mattered that I didn't hold position because I misclicked where she needed to stand as well. But
yeah.
Massacre.
I think the main takeaway there is to do it sooner.
Yeah.
It's not even about, you know, that it was there a little bit too late or something. It's that the focus could have been on doing that much, much sooner.
Yeah, there was no reason for her not to be there, like, as soon as that wall was there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I should definitely,
so maybe even just like a queue when you're building the wall, boom, put a queen there.
Yeah.
Because that's, in the build, it tells you to build a third queen. That's what it's for, actually. Is to block that choke in the ramp, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
So we're kind of back on track. It's actually incredible that you made a game out of this after like, look, he's got full 2 base saturation. He's got his 3rd base up. Like he's sitting pretty for sure. No lair though, right? No lair.
No lair. Oh wait,
yeah, you're way ahead in tech. You're way ahead in upgrades.
Yeah.
Or you will be, I guess.
But like he.
So I think like the way you stabilized after this is pretty good. You kind of did the only thing that you could do. You needed some defenses, some roaches. This positioning for units out here I don't think is very good. That kind of will allow you to be caught out of position, basically. Like if he just rolls up on your army and starts attacking, he can kill the Ravagers before you even realize what's going on. You basically always kind of want to stay back by your hatchery, take more of a defensive position.
Okay.
Other than that, everything like droning up real good, looks fine. Gas in the main. That's one thing. Upgrades are good. You got roach speed. One thing you can do when you get roach speed that early is take your roaches across the map and just poke a little bit, you know? Because your roaches are going to be way faster than his.
I see. He didn't have it.
Even though he had, man, he could walk across the map and end the game right now. See what he has compared to
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's got quite an army.
So I think, yeah, that's probably a part of why I was able to survive is because he definitely could have followed up a lot better. He got, there was no trade. Like he even kept some of his lings after clearing out that whole mineral line.
He was incredibly passive.
So how do you get back into a game when you're this far behind in a ZvZ?
Well, let's watch here. Nick actually answers that question for us. This was actually pretty incredible. Like he should have fucking pushed the issue, man. I don't think he's underestimating his position in the game for sure.
Yeah.
But I guess the way to get back in any kind of game is with energy, or just like cost-efficient units. You know, strong defensive positions, or you know, smart tactical maneuvers. These kind of things will get you back into a game.
Higher risk plays almost.
Yeah, a little bit. You got to be really cost-efficient with your units. Make sure they get huge value.
So maybe roaches, and then immediately go mutas or infestors, or
some kind of huge tech switch can be pretty good. Yeah, infestors are not super good or popular in ZvZ, but lurkers, for example, like a very quick lurker switch when they're going roaches is devastating. Lurkers are super strong. So Nick, this is also a way to come back in the game. You build this shit and you catch them ridiculously out of position. So that guy was halfway across the map. Did you see that when you started attacking that?
Yeah.
And then you go back. That was good, you know, you did damage. Take your shit out. That's fine. I can't understand why he went around the map that way. That's really weird. Really, really weird. But this is basically how you come back into ZvZ. Or one of the ways.
Looks like you have better macro in general, Nick.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's exactly right. The only reason Nick was in this game because he had better macro in general.
My little like tech snipe attack.
Yeah.
See, this is where I thought I had the game. And
let's go on Nick's vision. Everyone go on Nick's vision.
Okay.
And then get the cam following, and then we'll play. Sorry, go ahead, Nick.
Oh no, I was just saying, like, yeah, this is, well, the first thing is I didn't even notice that he rebuilt that hatchery immediately, so I thought I had him down to 1 base, and turns out I did not.
Killing the hatchery is like enough.
Also, I killed his hatch in his main, but he put his lair over here, and I kind of saw it, but it didn't like trigger in my brain. So if I had focused that lair instead, I would have been much more ahead. Because I killed all his tech, but I didn't kill the lair, so he was only 1 step away from getting everything back.
That lair has an extra 500 hit points too, I think. They're actually quite a bit beefier every time they get upgraded.
Yeah.
So it's 23 hydras, 19 roaches, 6 ravagers, to 7 hydras and 16 roaches. 44 drones to 51. and it is basically like, it's going to be 3.5 base mining for you compared to basically 2 base mining for him. Or, no, 1 base. 1 base. He doesn't have his third, he doesn't have his main, and he's got nothing at his fourth.
Right.
So like I like the position for you. The only thing you need is army.
Right.
That's it.
And in this situation, I think I overestimated how much I had done, and I thought like I should work on my economy more now because I just did all right. But I was kind of considering that as a one fight, and given that I lost in terms of army, that's maybe what I should have focused on at that point. So my economy was okay. I guess I'm having trouble like knowing and identifying like a drone window. Like when is it time to do that, and when is it time to use that larva? Because then I tried to like make army again after this and everything, but I just didn't have the larva anymore. Probably missing injects as well, which wouldn't have helped.
To be honest, this like even if you built 5 drones and like a few roaches after all of that happened way down there at his base. So like even if you built 5 more larvae into drones, or into roaches rather, this still is going to do some damage. The only thing you can do here now is like minimize the damage he's going to do. But again, units being out there, everything being in a slightly stronger position when all of this came in, and you know what, having an extra like 5 or 6 roaches at the front of that with your hydras behind in a perfect position, you never know.
Yeah.
That could have just been really, really nice for you. You don't lose this hatchery, you don't lose drones, you don't lose anything else. And then the game is easy for you.
Do you think they were too far out again? Like
a little bit too far out.
I had them like here, and they should have been
especially
like,
like right here. Yeah. At your like previous third base where your hydras are, if you hold kind of behind the little choke there, his roaches have to kind of clump forward a little bit and move together before he's able to move in to attack you. If you have a nice arc at the back of this ramp, he just gets absolutely slaughtered. Absolutely slaughtered.
I think when it comes to that decision making, when you say, I think I got him, it's time to drone, it's not time to drone, but you're not sure, start checking all the external bases, especially when you are over-capped on supply. Those overlords are cheap at this point. Just fire a couple around the map, and you're going to get the info that you need to make the decision.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yep, seeing how many bases he has.
It's definitely true, because at this stage I did not know that he had... I mean, I guess I did know that he had rebuilt that third. I didn't know where he was at on his main or his fourth. But he got that fourth up really quickly, and I did not know that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty quick. And that is a tool that he has now that allows him to get back in the game a little bit. Also, I think one like tech option for you could have been really good. Like if you went lurkers this game, for example, this guy would have been so destroyed. He would have just moved his lurkers in, or moved his roaches and hydras into your lurkers and got decimated, I'm sure of it. You could just tell by the way he's moving his shit around.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. See, I did have the thought of like I should deal with this army, but I also thought it's kind of late in the game, so I went towards ultras. I think I probably had already, maybe I hadn't done it yet, but the next thing that I do is go towards ultras, which is maybe like, maybe I should put lurkers in the queue before ultras in my tech mind for this sort of situation.
Right, yeah.
At least an option.
This guy moving up to broodlords is not good for you either.
Yes.
I remember there was a point when you went into his natural there and you saw the Greater Spire morphing. I was like, yep, he's dead. There's 0% chance. 0%.
Yeah, I don't remember even seeing the Greater Spire, but I do remember seeing the Broodlords and being like, well, this...
Yes.
And then I just tried to make Hydras, but I saw them when he was in my base, so I was just making like 2 Hydras at a time, and they were just walking to their deaths.
Yeah. Overall, I mean, you have better upgrades than him, right? You have 1 more attack than him. So a lot of the fights, your army was just stronger. It was just slightly out of position, and...
And this is probably a pretty bad attack here. Like...
Yeah, this was really bad. This was really bad, yeah.
You just
I think honestly from here on out, you're just everything goes a little bit worse all the time for you.
Starts to fall apart, yeah.
Yeah, there's not really much to be taken away from the rest of the game.
And look how balanced his army composition is. Wow.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not nice. Bad. Yeah, I would totally agree that from this point on, I just lose. Like, the only significant decision that I made after this point was I tried making the ultra lists.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, like, oh, he just has all these ground guys. Lurkers obviously would have been the better call for that.
Yeah. Kind of seemed to me like you lost the game the first 3 minutes, but...
that's certainly how I felt in those first few minutes, but I felt like I was kind of doing all right and coming back, but I also felt that it was because he was like he was being very, very safe.
If you look at his money right now, like he's been floating way too much the entire game.
Yeah.
I honestly think if those lings didn't get into your base at the start and you just continue on with your build order and your plan, your first wave of roaches that went across the map would have absolutely devastated him. You would have won the game with it. You may not have killed him with it, but you would have been able to kill his army, kill a base, you know. You would have done enough damage to secure the win for sure.
You're just a little bit behind.
I definitely learned a valuable fucking lesson about that goddamn wall.
Yep. It's pretty important. Also the overreaction to losing an overlord, that's really, really, really important.
Yeah.
Spending all that money and spreading yourself out thin when you don't have ling speed and you're trying to tech up and do all this stuff at once is just recipe for disaster.
Mm-hmm.
So do you just float the money and make sure your injects are good and then it evens out pretty quick?
Float money for what?
Like, because he had like 600 minerals when that overlord went down and was supply capped. So do you just build a wall, still float like 400 minerals, and wait to be not supply capped?
I would say that's probably a bit of a mistake on Nick's part in not making sure that his money is being spent as it comes, right?
Yeah.
So like you probably...
What else do you do because he got killed by that overlord?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, that's exactly what you do. You save your money so that you can spend all your larvae immediately.
Yeah.
Basically, like, the mistake is you lost an overlord. That sucks for sure. But you still need to move on with your plan, I think.
Right,
Just like I said, replace the overlord and keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Spreading yourself out too thin across too much of the map while not having mobility is just... You will die.
He was waiting for his broodlords.
Yeah. From here, we just watch Nick die.
It's not even fair because you don't even get to hit the broodlord. It's just free.
And then he tries to attack them from the side, and there's a impenetrable army waiting.
And I had I wasn't even close to his army supply when this started, and then
a few units would have done some serious damage.
I did drone up like crazy though. 57 drones.
You did, yeah.
But then I didn't I
was like, you know what?
Right.
If Nick doesn't get attacked for the next minute or two, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh, there's the ultralist. Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing I noticed when you were floating like 2K, don't be afraid to spend a lot of money on infrastructure all at once. So grab that infestation pit, grab that lurker den, grab double upgrades, grab a macro hatch all at once if you're floating that much.
Yeah.
Because it'll help you get back into things really quick. I mean, we're not fucking perfect, so doing those cheap things like the macro hatch, which is technically not perfect, is perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, it's certainly still valuable. Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe if I had a macro hatch that was being injected the whole time, I could have made a little bit more. But I don't know. I don't think there's any way to save myself from this fight. He's still... Yeah, it's super over.
You just...
Yeah, like I said, the rest of the game after, I don't know, back here, 13 minutes or so is kind of irrelevant.
Yeah, and I do also think, though, that, all of it after even the first 5 or 6 minutes was just I was just running on his time for him not making the decision.
Yeah.